From Fox 15, News 15 at 9 starts now.
Good evening. I'm Princess Jeanne Steverson Lowry. Thank you for choosing News 15 at 9. Our top story of the evening, one of the main reasons people die from COVID-19 is because it thickens your blood, creating blood clots. That makes it harder for you to breathe. Well, there's an alternative that people are now taking to make breathing easier that's quite dangerous. It's aspirin, and it works as a blood thinner. I spoke to Louisiana pharmacist Mark Mula, who says aspirin is typically used to treat a stroke, and if not prescribed, it could be unsafe.
It'll burn a hole in your gut, an ulcer, the ringing of the ears, stomach cramps, thinning of the blood. If your blood is too thin or too thick, you have an issue.
Alexandria Alford says she hasn't had COVID, but she's had an ulcer after being in a bad car accident. She took aspirin for 4 months to help with the pain.
In June of 2020, I developed 3 bulges in my spine from a car accident that I had gotten into, and my doctor prescribed me aspirin. Anyone who has taken aspirin for a long time knows that, you're at risk for developing a stomach ulcer, which I did develop, and anyone who's had a stomach ulcer before can tell you that it burns and makes it extremely difficult to eat.
Aspirin can make your blood clot, but Mula says that's a good thing. When your blood clots too much or too little, then it becomes a problem.
If you cut your arm, it's going to bleed. Eventually it stops, right? And it stops because there's clotting factors in your blood. If it's too thin, you risk losing all your clotting factors, and you'll just bleed out.
Mula says rather than using aspirin, buy a pulse oxygen meter so you can measure your oxygen levels at home. You don't want your levels to go below 90. Now, Mula says you can buy that pulse oxygen meter at any Walmart or Walgreens for $10 to $30. He says it's the best thing you can have at your home during COVID because there aren't any symptoms to show your oxygen levels are decreasing.